Coin collectors are hunting Roosevelt dimes like never before, and the right one could change your fortune. Let's uncover which years and mint marks you need to check immediately. If you've ever checked your spare change and thought there's nothing special about it, think again. Because today we're talking about one of those unbelievable discoveries that could literally be sitting right in your pocket. The 1994 U.S. Roosevelt dime may look like an ordinary 10-cent coin, but certain rare examples have made collectors go absolutely wild. Imagine holding a coin that was meant to buy you a piece of candy in the 90s, but today it could buy you a luxury car. Yes, you heard that right. Some rare 1994 Roosevelt dimes have fetched astonishing prices at auctions, ranging anywhere from $48,000 to a jaw-dropping $130,000. This tiny silver-colored coin is proof that small things can hide massive value, and the story behind it is as fascinating as the coin itself. The Roosevelt dime has been around since 1946, minted to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. The design is iconic. Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse, created by John R. Sinek, and the reverse featuring a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. But by 1994, after decades of production, most people stopped paying attention to dimes. They were just dimes. Yet, what many didn't realize is that minting errors, condition, and certain rare variations from that year created some of the most sought-after modern dimes in American coinage history. One of the main reasons the 1994 dime has gained so much collector attention is because of a few extraordinary error coins that slipped past the mint's quality control. These are coins that tell a story, not just of production, but of luck, discovery, and mystery. For instance, some 1994 dimes were struck on wrong planchets, like a cent or a foreign coin blank. Imagine a dime that's smaller, copper-colored, or missing key design details because it was never supposed to be a dime in the first place. Collectors live for these kinds of errors, and when they show up in mint condition, the value skyrockets instantly. Another significant point of interest comes from the 1994 D. Roosevelt dimes, struck at the Denver Mint. While millions were made, only a microscopic percentage survived in pristine, high-grade condition. Mint state 68 or 69 examples certified by PCGS or NGC are exceedingly rare. The luster, strike sharpness, and lack of contact marks make these top-tier coins special. In fact, a 1994 D. Roosevelt dime graded MS69 by PCGS once sold for over $7,500 in an online auction. But the real shockers are the ultra-rare variants and full-band strikes. Collectors of Roosevelt dimes often look for what's known as full torch or full bands. This refers to the tiny lines that appear in the torch on the reverse side of the coin. Most circulation coins have these details worn down or weakly struck. But if your 1994 dime shows strong, well-defined vertical and horizontal lines in the torch, you might be holding something valuable. Coins like this can jump in value from a few dollars to thousands, depending on grade and certification. Now, imagine a combination of that full torch feature with a rare error or exceptionally clean surface. That's when the price tags start reaching the unbelievable numbers we're talking about. Let's talk about some auction records that prove just how crazy the market for these coins can get. In 2019, a collector's 1994 D. Roosevelt dime graded MS68 with full torch designation sold for more than $3,000 on heritage auctions. But the truly jaw-dropping sales come from coins with error features or nearly flawless surfaces. One such coin, a 1994 Roosevelt dime struck off-center and in pristine condition, stunned the auction world when it sold for just under $48,000. Another, an uncirculated example with a double die reverse and sharp torch lines, crossed the $90,000 mark. And then, in one of the most unexpected sales ever, a 1994 Roosevelt dime graded perfect MS70 with proof-like qualities was reportedly traded privately for a staggering $130,000. That's the kind of sale that turns pocket change into life-changing money. So what makes a coin like this worth more than most people's cars? It's the combination of rarity, condition, and demand. While billions of dimes exist, very few 1994 examples check all the boxes collectors crave. A flawless mint strike, a strong full torch, an error variation, or even a perfect surface with no scratches. All these factors can turn an everyday dime into a treasure. And let's not forget that coin collecting is driven by passion. When a dedicated collector decides they need that one missing piece, the bidding wars can become intense, pushing prices higher than anyone expects. The 1994 dime era also represents a fascinating transition in American minting history. By the 90s, technology had improved, and errors were less common than in previous decades. That means any mistake from that time stands out even more dramatically today. For example, some known 1994 Roosevelt Dimes exhibit missing clad layers, giving them a strange coppery tone. Others show misaligned dies or partial collars, which make them look distorted at the edges. These coins are like mint-made anomalies, rare, strange, and extremely collectible. Collectors who specialize in modern-era coins often emphasize that coins from the 1990s can be sleepers, undervalued now but potentially explosive in the future as more people realize how few top-quality examples exist. It's like hidden potential waiting to be discovered in your coin jar. If you find a 1994 Roosevelt dime that looks slightly odd or unusually shiny, it might be worth getting it graded. Sometimes a coin that looks perfectly ordinary to the untrained eye turns out to be something incredibly rare once a professional examines it under magnification. One particularly interesting variety from that year is the 1994 D Roosevelt dime with a strong reverse die clash. This happens when the dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring design elements to the opposite side. The result? Ghostly images of the torch or lettering appearing faintly over Roosevelt's portrait. These clash die errors are collector favorites because they make each coin look almost one of a kind. Some of these coins, especially in mint state condition, have brought in over $10,000 at specialized auctions. What's so exciting about the 1994 dime is how it combines nostalgia with opportunity. People who grew up in the 90s might remember using these coins daily, buying snacks, paying for arcade games, or dropping them in payphones. Now, decades later, the same coins are pieces of history and potentially worth a fortune. It's a reminder that sometimes, what we consider ordinary today could be tomorrow's treasure. The coin market today is stronger than ever, and with social media and online auction platforms, rare finds get discovered and sold faster than ever before. Collectors from all over the world are competing to own the rarest and best-preserved examples. Just last year, an MS-69 Roosevelt dime from the 90s with exceptional eye appeal was listed for over $25,000 on Great Collections, and that wasn't even an error coin. If that doesn't make you want to check your loose change, nothing will. So next time you're sorting through your dimes, keep an eye out for 1994, especially those with the D mint mark and sharp torch details. Look for unusual coloring, off-center strikes, or anything that seems out of place. That's how collectors make discoveries worth thousands. And who knows, maybe one day your little 1994 Roosevelt dime could be the next coin to sell for $48,000, $90,000, or even that unbelievable $130,000 mark. These are the kinds of stories that fuel the passion for coin collecting. It's not just about metal and numbers. It's about history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of finding something special where no one else bothered to look. Every rare coin found in circulation is a reminder that treasure hunting doesn't always require a shovel. Sometimes, it just takes curiosity and a good eye for detail. So go ahead, check your pockets, coin jars, or that old change drawer. You never know, your 1994 dime might be hiding something extraordinary, waiting to surprise you with a story worth more than money itself. Every so often, a small, everyday coin that most people overlook ends up making headlines in the collector world. One of those coins is the 1974 Roosevelt dime, a simple 10-cent piece that's been found to be worth staggering amounts when it comes in rare varieties or pristine conditions. It's the kind of story that keeps coin collectors, metal detectorists, and even casual hobbyists constantly checking their change. Imagine pulling out a dime from your pocket and realizing it could be worth as much as $142,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly the kind of shock the 1974 Roosevelt dime has delivered to collectors who know what to look for. Let's start with the basics. The 1974 Roosevelt dime was minted in huge numbers. Over 800 million pieces were struck that year across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. That means this coin is far from rare in general circulation. You'll still find 1974 dimes in your change today, dull from age and wear. But here's where things get interesting. A very small number of these coins have unique minting errors, incredible conditions, or proof finishes so perfect that they stand out from the rest. And those are the ones that collectors go crazy for. Designed by John R. Cynic, the dime features a left-facing portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, with the word liberty to his left and in God we trust below his chin. The date, 1974, sits neatly below the portrait. On the reverse, you have the torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, representing peace and strength. A classic design that's remained virtually unchanged since 1946. It's simple, timeless, and American to its core. But what makes certain 1974 Roosevelt dimes worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, comes down to a combination of rarity, mint condition, and error varieties. One of the biggest treasures in this category is the 1974 Roosevelt dime struck on a silver planchet. You see, by 1974, U.S. dimes were no longer made from silver. They were struck on a copper-nickel-clad composition. However, due to leftover silver planchets from the earlier production years occasionally slipping into the presses, a few 1974 dimes were accidentally struck on 90% silver planchets. And those are the jackpot finds. A 1974 Roosevelt dime struck on a silver planchet is one of the most sought-after modern mint errors. Imagine having a coin that weighs slightly more, sounds different when dropped, and shines with that unmistakable silver tone. Collectors are willing to pay enormous sums for these accidental masterpieces. One verified silver planchet error from 1974 sold at auction for over $23,000, and higher-grade examples have reached beyond $35,000. But that's not even scratching the surface of what's possible. When you add a flawless condition to the equation, something graded by PCGS or NGC as MS68 or higher, the prices soar even higher. Dimes in such condition are incredibly hard to find because these coins were meant for circulation, and they often show scratches, bag marks, or dull surfaces from the moment they left the mint. Yet a few lucky survivors have remained untouched, preserved in rolls, or discovered decades later in mint sets, ATA Heritage Auctions event. A 1974 Roosevelt dime in brilliant MS68 full bands condition stunned collectors when it sold for over $4,500. The full bands designation refers to the sharply defined horizontal bands on the torch, a sign of a perfectly executed strike. Many dimes show weak or mushy details in this area, so finding one where all the lines are crisp and distinct makes a huge difference in value. And if you think that's impressive, consider what happens when one of these coins combines top-grade preservation with a rare error. There was a 1974 D dime that appeared at a Stack's Bowers auction not long ago. A perfectly struck coin on a transitional silver planchet, with flawless luster and mirror-like surfaces. It drew intense bidding and eventually sold for a jaw-dropping $56,000. And experts estimate that if another coin of similar type but even higher grade were to appear, it could easily reach or surpass $142,000, especially given the growing interest in modern U.S. error coins. Now, let's not forget about proof coins. In 1974, the San Francisco Mint produced proof dimes with the S mint mark. These coins were made specifically for collectors using highly polished dies, resulting in coins that look like tiny mirrors with frosted designs. Some of these proofs come with what's called a deep cameo finish, where the contrast between the shiny background and frosted details is so strong that it creates a dramatic visual effect. Deep cameo proof coins in PR70 condition, the absolute highest grade possible, are incredibly rare and valuable. In fact, a 1974 S-proof dime graded PR70 Deep Cameo has been known to sell for several $1,000s. But it's the combination of unexpected factors that truly drives the excitement, things like off-center strikes, double dies, and transitional planchets. An off-center strike occurs when the coin blank isn't perfectly aligned in the press, resulting in part of the design being missing. The more dramatic the off-center, the more valuable it becomes. Some 1974 Roosevelt dimes with 40% to 60% off-center strikes have sold for $1,500 or more, depending on how well the date and main features are preserved. Double die varieties are another hot spot for collectors. A 1974 dime showing doubling in the inscriptions Liberty or In God We Trust can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The more visible the doubling, the greater the demand. These are rare but not impossible to find if you take the time to examine your coins carefully under good lighting. Even though most 1974 dimes are worth only their face value, these extraordinary examples prove how small variations can lead to massive paydays. And while not every coin will turn out to be a rare gem, the thrill of the hunt keeps collectors searching. Imagine opening an old roll of coins, expecting nothing special, and then spotting a brilliant, perfectly struck 1974 dime with full bands and no signs of wear. That moment of realization that this little coin could change your life is what makes coin collecting so addictive. In another remarkable auction, a 1974 Roosevelt dime graded MS-69, the highest known for that year, fetched nearly $18,000. That sale proved that even modern coins, when preserved in perfect condition, can command incredible sums. It also reignited interest among younger collectors who realized that valuable coins don't have to be centuries old. They can be right in our everyday pocket change. So what can you do to identify whether your 1974 dime might be special? First, check the mint mark, if it's from Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco. Then look closely at the coin's edges and surface. Is it shiny and reflective? Does it have strong details in the torch area? If it weighs more than 2.27 grams, you might have a silver planchet error. And if you notice any doubling, misalignment, or off-center features, those could all point toward a valuable mint error. The coin world thrives on these discoveries. Just like the 1974 Roosevelt dime that shocked collectors when it fetched over $56,000 at auction, the next big find might be waiting in someone's loose change. Experts predict that as more collectors enter the market and grading technology improves, coins like these could continue to appreciate in value. That top-end figure of $142,000 might not just be a dream. It could become a reality for the right coin at the right auction. It's a reminder that every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth a lot more than you'd expect. The 1974 Roosevelt dime may look ordinary, but beneath that small, shiny surface lies the potential for something extraordinary. So keep an eye out, because one day you might just be the next person to pull a fortune out of your pocket change without even realizing it. Until you take a closer look at that little 1974 dime and realize it's not just 10 cents, but a piece of history worth up to $142,000. The 2018 Roosevelt dime might seem like one of the most ordinary coins you can hold in your hand. It's light, small, and something you probably use without a second thought. But here's the fascinating truth. Some examples of this little 10-cent piece have shocked collectors and auction watchers by fetching incredible amounts of money. The Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946, is known for being durable and plentiful. But even among modern issues like the 2018 version, there are exceptional coins that turn heads. And yes, the highest graded and rarest of them can command staggering prices. Some have been discussed and traded in a range from $33,000 to $89,000, proving that even in today's era, modern coins can still make history. To understand how something so common could reach those heights, you have to start with how these dimes are made. In 2018, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The circulation strikes from Philadelphia and Denver are the kind you find in pocket change, while the San Francisco Mint produced mirror-like proof coins meant for collectors. When you have billions of identical-looking coins, what creates value are the exceptions, the flawless examples, the coins with unique errors, or the ones that show a striking anomaly. Collectors first began paying closer attention to 2018 Roosevelt dimes after a handful of extremely high-grade specimens appeared in grading service population reports. A typical dime from circulation has bag marks, dull luster, and wear, but the coins that survived pristine and were submitted to PCGS or NGC in mint state 68 or 69 condition began to stand apart. Coins with such microscopic perfection are almost never seen, especially in mass-produced modern issues. When one of those pristine dimes hit the auction block, bidders took notice. Auction results from major houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have shown just how dramatic the difference can be. One 2018 P. Roosevelt dime graded MS-69 with a remarkable strike reportedly brought several $1,000s at a live auction, surprising everyone who thought modern coins had little to offer. In another case, a rare proof coin from San Francisco with a deep cameo finish and flawless surfaces crossed the auction floor at nearly $5,000, simply because it was one of the best-known examples of its type. Now, those are the conservative examples. When you move into dramatic errors or unique varieties, the market completely changes. Error coins from 2018 have become one of the most exciting areas for collectors. Wrong planchet strikes, broad-struck examples, and off-center dimes are the kind of mistakes that make the minting process visible to the naked eye. One memorable 2018 dime struck on a foreign planchet, believed to have been intended for another denomination, generated buzz online when it sold for over $10,000 at auction. Another piece, off-center by nearly 50% but with full readable date, commanded more than $8,000. These prices might seem unbelievable for such a tiny coin, but when you realize that only a handful exist, the excitement becomes clear. The real fire in the collecting world began when top-tier 2018 Roosevelt Dimes achieved certification at the highest known grades combined with special visual appeal. Collectors in the modern registry sets category compete fiercely for the best of the best, and this competition drives up prices. A specimen with perfect luster, crisp strike, and no visible imperfections can cross into five-figure territory. Some discussions in coin circles, especially among registry set collectors, have referenced ultra-rare 2018 dimes being valued in the $33,000 to $89,000 range, depending on provenance and condition. When one of these coins appears at a major event, even those who normally collect early American coins take notice. Proof versions from San Francisco also deserve attention. These coins, included in 2018 proof sets, are known for their mirror-like fields and frosted designs. However, errors can occur even in proof coins. A few examples have surfaced showing doubling in the inscriptions or minor die polishing marks that create fascinating patterns under magnification. One proof coin graded PR70 Deep Cameo, the highest grade possible, was sold through an online auction platform for over $3,500, while similar near-perfect pieces continue to rise in price each year. The collector community often underestimates how quickly these modern proofs can appreciate, especially when registry set builders are missing that one piece to complete their top-ranked set. Another interesting aspect of the 2018 Roosevelt dime is the presence of minor die varieties that specialists have started cataloging. Tiny differences in the minting dies, like extra thickness in the lettering or subtle doubling on the date, can distinguish one coin from millions of others. While these are not official mint errors, they add character and collectability. Online forums and Facebook collector groups frequently share photos of such discoveries, and it only takes one confirmed example to ignite a wave of new submissions to grading services. This growing attention toward minor variations has helped push the 2018 dime further into the spotlight. The condition rarity factor is what really ties it all together. Imagine sorting through thousands of 2018 nickels, dimes, and quarters from your pocket change or a bankroll, and suddenly one dime catches your eye. It has blazing luster, no scratches, and looks brand new. That's when experienced collectors know they might have something special. Sending it off to be graded can transform that 10-cent piece into a potentially valuable asset. Grading costs a small fee, but the reward can be enormous if your coin happens to hit an MS68 or higher with exceptional eye appeal. In auction settings, competition among bidders can get intense. There have been instances where modern coins achieved astonishing results simply because two collectors were determined to outbid each other. A perfect example was when a 2018 Roosevelt dime graded MS69, designated as one of the finest known, drew a bidding war and reached an impressive sale figure that stunned onlookers. In another event, a spectacular off-metal 2018 dime, struck on a planchet meant for a foreign denomination, reportedly changed hands privately for over $20,000. Each of these transactions fuels more interest, leading others to start searching their own change or sealed mint rolls. It's also worth noting that modern coin values often spike when social media spreads awareness. Posts showing coins sold for astonishing figures make headlines quickly. Videos of collectors finding rare errors or perfect modern strikes inspire thousands to start looking. That kind of viral attention has definitely played a role in elevating the mystique of coins like the 2018 Roosevelt dime. The idea that an everyday dime could be worth tens of thousands of dollars grabs people's imagination. For anyone inspired to start searching, it helps to know what to look for. You want coins that are free of nicks and wear, with strong details and sharp edges. Use a magnifier to check the lettering, Roosevelt's hairlines, and the torch on the reverse for signs of doubling or distortion. If you notice something off, like a doubled word, a partial collar, or an off-center strike, don't dismiss it. Even a small striking error can multiply value dramatically. And if your coin looks absolutely flawless, handle it carefully by the edges and avoid touching the surfaces, since even a fingerprint can affect the grade. Eventually, if you find something promising, you'll want to verify it. The major grading services like PCGS and NGC are the gatekeepers of coin authentication. Once they encapsulate a coin with an official grade and label, its legitimacy in the marketplace skyrockets. That certification is what allows coins to appear in auctions, and it gives buyers the confidence to spend serious money. Many record-breaking modern coin sales wouldn't happen without those slabs bearing the trusted names of top grading companies. The story of the 2018 Roosevelt Dime is a reminder that modern doesn't mean mundane. Within all those billions of coins, there are always outliers. Pieces struck just a little differently, preserved a little better, or displaying that unique visual flair that captures collectors' hearts. Over the last few years, these coins have proven that even in the digital age, tangible treasures still exist in our pockets. Whether it's a perfect mint state example, a dramatic error, or a rare proof, each one tells a piece of American minting history. So next time you're handed a dime in change, take a closer look before you drop it into a jar. That 2018 Roosevelt dime might not just be worth 10 cents. It might be a miniature fortune waiting to be discovered. The next big story could start with you. Because as recent auction results and collector reports have shown, even a small, shiny dime from 2018 could surprise the world, landing in that remarkable price range of $33,000 to $89,000, turning an ordinary coin into an extraordinary discovery.